All good things must come to an end. Welcome to the No Spin Zone. Graf's Grievances starts right now. Some people have a plan. They know early on exactly what they want to achieve in life, personally, professionally, or both. I wasn't one of those people. I never envisioned myself making political videos on YouTube and TikTok. Not as a high school student, not even as a college student. But I did know something else. Since I was about 11 or 12 years old, I knew I loved national politics. I knew that one day I wanted to make a career out of it. That passion started with curiosity, watching debates on TV, staying up late on election night with Wolf Blitzer, memorizing the names of senators most adults can't pick out of a lineup. I wasn't interested in politics because it was glamorous or because I wanted power. I was interested because I believed politics was the way we solved problems. It was the way we made progress. And thanks to my amazing father, I got a front row seat to the process early. He helped me secure an internship in the congressional district office of former Democratic Congressman Joe Crowley while I was still a high school student. There, I saw the real work of Congress, not the speeches, not the sound bites, but the grind of helping constituents navigate government bureaucracy. I saw staff help families apply for citizenship, guide seniors through housing programs, and make sure people could put food on the table through programs like SNAP. That was government at its best, helping people who need it most. I later parlayed that experience into an internship on Capitol Hill for Democratic Congressman Gary Ackerman, where I got to see the DC side of the job, drafting legislation, prepping hearings, getting a real feel of the pace of Capitol Hill. But somewhere in the middle of all of that, I had a realization. What really fascinated me wasn't just the lawmaking itself, it was how lawmakers decide what to do. And the truth is, these decisions almost always come down to one thing: elections. What gets you reelected? What keeps your seat safe? What determines that? What voters believe? And what shapes what voters believe? The information they consume. That's when it hit me. The media holds enormous power in a democracy. That's what led me to journalism. I thought the news media was a bastion for truth, a mechanism to hold the powerful accountable, a way to help the public navigate what their government was doing in their name. So, fresh out of college, I dove in. My first job was at Fox News in May of 2016, a wild time to start any journalism career. As a researcher at Fox, I was feeding anchors information during one of the most divisive elections in US history. I joined believing that even if the network leaned conservative, or very conservative, facts still mattered. That people could debate values, priorities, and policy, but truth would win out. But it didn't take long to see the cracks. When Donald Trump started claiming the 2016 election was rigged against him, I did my job. I checked. I talked to cybersecurity experts, election officials, voter integrity groups. And the evidence? There was none. No grand conspiracy, no rigged system. But that didn't matter. Night after night, the programming on Fox News echoed Trump's lies. That was my first real glimpse of the problem. Truth was optional. Narrative was everything. I left Fox 9 months before the 2020 election and eventually joined MSNBC, hoping for better. And I did find more rigorous standards, but even there, bias seeped in. Negative stories about Democrats were often downplayed or ignored. After years in that world, I had to face a hard truth. The traditional media wasn't built to fix this. So I asked myself, if truth was this fragile in the media, where could I make the most impact? And that's how Graf's Grievances was born, once again, thanks to my father. I launched this channel because I wanted to give people something I wished I had more of when I was working in cable news. Honest, nuanced, fact-based commentary. No spin, no team sports. And for the last 2.5 years, wow, that's what I've tried to do here. Since March 2023, I've made more than 380 videos. I've racked up over 130,000 views. This channel has grown to more than 600 subscribers. Every single one of you matters to me. I know those aren't viral numbers. I didn't go big on TikTok. But you know what? That's okay, because every view, every comment, especially the thoughtful ones, meant someone out there cared enough to think critically. And that's what this was always about. But despite pouring countless hours, truly countless, into research, scripting, editing, hoping maybe, just maybe, I could build something sustainable, I didn't. I failed to make a living doing this. And that's why this is my last regularly scheduled episode of Graf's Grievances. But I'm not giving up. I'm turning the page. Because through all of this, through Fox, through MSNBC, through YouTube, one thing has become crystal clear to me. Truth is under attack like never before. And the single biggest challenge of our time is this: getting people accurate information in a world where lies spread faster, cheaper, and more convincingly than ever before. We have always had propaganda. We've always had yellow journalism. But today we have something very different. We have social media platforms that refuse to regulate anything. We have algorithms that reward outrage and division. And now we have AI. Deepfakes so real you can't tell if the video of a politician was real or fake. Did he or she really say that? Did that really happen? Or was that just an algorithm spitting out something that looks like reality? When truth becomes impossible to verify, democracy collapses. Because a democracy is only as strong as its shared understanding of reality. And that's why I believe our political leaders have to step up. They need to regulate what gets shared on social media and all across the internet. I know that sounds like censorship, and that scares me a lot as a content creator. But the alternative is far worse. The only way to preserve a functioning democracy is to hold people accountable for spreading lies. I'm not talking about punishing differences of opinion on policy solutions. I'm talking about stopping deliberate, provable falsehoods that poison our ability to govern ourselves. That's the problem of our time. And I realize that fighting it through the media is not enough for me. So this fall, I'm starting law school. Because when everything else is noise, the courts still demand evidence. They still demand facts. Watching judges, Republicans and Democrats, even Trump appointees, reject 61 out of 62 lawsuits after the 2020 election reminded me The law, at its best, is the last line of defense for truth. I don't know exactly where my legal career will take me, whether it's litigation, policy, or something else entirely. But I do know I want to be where the truth matters, where facts matter, where integrity matters. And that's why I'm stepping away from YouTube, not because this mission is over, but because I'm taking it to another level. To everyone who has subscribed, liked, commented, especially if you disagreed with me, thank you, truly. You made it possible for me to live out my dream of having a daily show. This is my last regular upload, but it's not goodbye. When I have time, I will be sure to be back here to share my thoughts, because the fight for truth doesn't end here. So for one last time, thank you for watching Graf's Grievances. Let me know what you think. Good night and good luck.